Hey, all you guys out there in YouTube land, Chibi here, and I wanted to make a video that I've been meaning to make for a long time, and some things have happened recently that have made me decide to find a way to make this video work. Here's my new dressed up minifee girl. Just wanted to show her real quick, but I'm not gonna have a doll in this video. So, I tried to make this video. I've tried to make this video multiple times. It's kind of late in the day, so my hair is all frizzy. Everything looks crazy. Whatever. Just whatever. I don't care. Anyways, hopefully, by the title of this, you'll know I am addressing recasts. I have addressed them on this channel before. Anyone who's been here long enough knows that my views, if you remember what they were from that video, are not the same. Reason being, I've grown up. It's been many years. Everybody grows and changes over time. Everybody will have opinions when they're young that they don't agree with when they're old. You know, we grow, we learn, we change. Get over it. That being said, I am pro artist 110%. I do not think recasts are okay. I do not think if you are still actively buying recasts that, that to me is showing an action and showing who you are as a person, and I don't think that's okay. So, no, I do not want to actively follow or actively talk to or be friends with someone who is actively hurting this hobby. Now, that being said, if you've made a mistake in the past is the past. I don't care. I'm not some crazy person's like, oh, you made that mistake? Well, for me to think that you've rectified it, you need to sell your recasts and buy nothing but legit dolls, to replace them and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't want you to buy any more recasts, but I'm not going to be someone who's like, yeah, you have to, go out and spend a shit ton of money replacing your dolls, that you may not have money for. As long as you're no longer going to buy recasts and support recasters, I don't care. And as long as you also make that clear, because there have been some people that I followed and then realized they had recasts and they had no visible way that I could find to say, hey, I made a mistake. I still have this doll, but I don't plan to buy any more recasts, or I am now pro artist. Just any simple thing to let me know that they are not still completely okay with buying recasts. So, or it was embedded in a video that I couldn't tell. So if I can't tell, I just unfollow you. I don't want to support someone who maybe still be buying recasts. Like, sorry. I mean, I know some people want to hide the fact of what they've done in their past, and I know that there are people in this hobby who will never accept someone who bought a recast. And I think that is silly. That is overblown. That's just like, people can't make mistakes. People can't change their minds. That's just a way to make this hobby worse. People are never going to change their mind if you tell them, oh, it doesn't matter if you change your mind and, come over, if you want to be one of us, you have to sell all your recasts and you have to, it's ridiculous. If you've made a mistake, fine, done, don't care. As long as you have gone legit, decided you're never going to support recasters anymore, I don't care. If you're still actively buying recasts and don't see why it's an issue or a problem, I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to deal with your crap. I don't care. I have a 40-hour-a-week job, friends, family, and a whole lot of other stuff to deal with. I don't care. I'm not going to put myself in that situation. If you're still actively buying them, that shows me your actions and the type of person you are. That's all I need. I'm done. I don't care. I'm walking away. And if people want to argue with me about that, remember that I'm dyslexic and I cannot type the way that others may be able to communicate, which is why I've been a mainly YouTuber and I've posted pictures here and there, but I don't do forms and things like that because it's an issue for me. I have to voice command most anything I do want to talk and say, and that can be time consuming and annoying, and voice command doesn't always work that well. So, I'm not here to argue it. I don't really care. I don't agree with illegally downloading music. I don't agree with illegally downloading movies. I don't agree with any type of product theft in that manner. It's just, to me, none of it's okay. Someone worked hard, and in a lot of cases, a lot of people worked hard and deserve to get paid for their services. If you don't like the company, if you don't like, the way they are, take your money somewhere else. And if you're taking your money to a recaster, all you're doing is stealing. If you don't like the company, why would you want their product? It's as simple as that. A lot of people say, well, it's not really affecting Fairyland because people wouldn't, if people weren't going to spend that kind of money on a mini fee, they weren't going to spend that kind of money on a mini fee. Okay, well, there are cheaper ways to get what you want. You can buy heads separately. You can buy cheaper bodies. You may not be hurting Fairyland, but then are you not hurting cheaper companies which you could hybrid with, or just buy a doll from them and customize it in a way that you like? If you're going to buy a doll and you buy it from a recaster, you are hurting this community. It doesn't matter if you believe you're not hurting Fairyland because you were never going to spend that kind of money on a doll. Then you didn't spend that money on a cheaper doll to support one of our less expensive companies. And you can say, well, I don't like their aesthetic. I don't like this. I don't like that. This is a luxury hobby. If you don't like it, don't buy it. No one needs a doll. I'm sorry, and I know that there are so many people out there that disagree with that statement, but no one needs a doll. If you have a mental state that requires a doll, it's not a doll you need. You need to take that money and spend it in a way to get help, not a doll. I'm very hard line about this. It's a luxury hobby. You don't need it. These people work hard. They deserve to get paid. And the only particular argument that bothers me a lot is comparing it to stuff that makes no sense. And if you make a nonsensical argument, there's a good chance I'm just not going to listen to you, because if it's nonsensical, it's nonsensical. You can't compare it to knockoffs. That's nonsensical. I'm sorry to tell you this. A knockoff is not an exact copy. It is not taking someone's hard work and exactly molding it, making a mold, and recasting it. That's not a knockoff. That's an exact copy. A knockoff is when you go to the dollar store and see a really crappy looking thing that clearly is supposed to seem like a Monster High, but it's really not, and it looks like crap. That's knockoff. And then there are knockoffs that are a lot harder to tell the difference between. That's when you get into the gray line, and I don't think that's okay either. When you're exact copying someone to trick the consumer into buying your stuff, that's not okay either. It's the exact copy that bothers me. You're not doing anything of your own work to deserve people giving you money for it. And I'm never going to be okay with that. It's just like, there's a difference between Disney makes a movie. Okay, well, this property, technically, most Disney properties are old stories that are not completely copyrighted. So, of course, someone made The Little Mermaid, and then someone else made a similar movie about the thing. They're not copying the exact art and copying everything that Disney has copyrighted. They're only using the story that is from well before Disney ever had anything about it. And yes, they're running off that popularity and trying to make money off of it, but it's clearly a separate product. They're bad business practices and they're straight up copying. And if you can't see the difference in that, that's not my problem. I'm not going to sit here and argue that with people. And the thing that bothers me more than anything is that you have all these younger hobbyists coming in, and you have people who are, telling them at such a young age, oh, you've made a mistake, you can pretty much never recover from it, no one's ever going to trust you again. Yeah, you might have to prove yourself. When you make a mistake, you have to deal with the consequences. There's just no get out of jail free card. You may have to deal with the consequences. You may have to prove yourself more than another person might who's not gone out and bought, a fake doll. And then, if you've tried to pass it off as real, yeah, you're going to lose a lot of trust from people. If you've straight out said, hey, this is what it is, and you've tagged it all along, and then you go legit, yeah, someone might be still a little bit skeptical if you're trying to sell another legit doll that you've bought, and you might have to show a little bit more proof, and, or have a harder time selling the doll, but that is the consequence of your actions. If you can't deal with the consequence, do not do the action. It's like anything you ever do in life. Whenever you make a decision to do something in life, there are consequences for the said action. Even just buying legit dolls, you want to know the consequence of that? You are out a lot of money. And 9 times out of 10, you cannot get the full money back, even if you sell it. And then there's always the worry that you may not be able to sell it because the market is up, down, all around. And, maybe you, like me, have older dolls that don't have COAs because it's before COAs were a thing, because recasts pretty much destroyed this hobby and made things harder. Now, I try to be nice in this video, but I'm really kind of sick of people being super nice about it. Like, I'm not going to be totally okay with someone who's actively buying recasts. You're hurting this hobby. Your actions show that, that's not a good thing. That'd be like me going, oh, this person's actions, they're not okay, but they're really nice to me, so I'm going to be totally okay with them. No, I'm not. I'm sorry, not sorry. Get over it. If your actions show these things, then maybe you need to look at yourself and see if you're okay with it. If you're doing something and you don't like the consequences, you need to stop doing it. And I know people are like, oh, we need to be nice, we need to be great, we don't want to push people who collect recasts, away. We want to bring them over to this side. And to me, I'm going to be, if you want to come legit, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, you were recast, friendly before and you bought recast, so I hate you. No, I'm going to be I'm happy, and I'd love to see you come to the legit side, and I would love for you to join our side of the community, but I cannot condone people who actively buy recasts. It's not okay. People worked hard. It doesn't matter how big or small a company is. If they worked for it, they deserve to get paid for it. These recasters did nothing but remold it. That's not working for it. If they want to make legitimate money, they need to make their own dolls, hire their own people to sculpt dolls, and hire their own people to make websites for the ones who don't even have websites for you to go to, and you just email them or Skype them. Yeah, I know a decent amount about it. And, it's not that I don't know anyone who's ever bought a recast. It's not that, I'm going to see that you bought a recast and attack you. I'm going to see that you bought a recast and ignore you. As simple as that. I have better things to do with my life. And I just got so bothered by people apparently saying that it is common in the YouTube community for us to be pro recast or something. I've heard that twice in like 2 days, and I am not okay with that. None of the people I follow do I knowingly know they have recast. Now, you know, it's none of my business. If you're hiding it, fine. I don't care. That's your consequence. Your consequence is you have to hide this doll because you're afraid of the consequences. That is a consequence. And you know what? I mean, that's not my bother. I don't. And if you're actively buying and actively hiding, that's also not my bother. I'm not going to research and try to figure out if someone has a legit. In general, it's just not my cup of tea. I'm not someone who wants to get all up in everyone's business. If you're quiet about it and you never show that you have them, or you never tag them as they, and I have no clue and no way of knowing, I'm not going to feel bad if I follow you, like your photos, and then later we figure out that they were all recast the whole time. I'll just unfollow you then and be done. I don't care. Or come out later and be like, I've gone legit, but every doll before now was fake, and I made mistakes, I've done what I've done, I'm sorry, and then I'll just keep following you. I don't care. There's just not enough there's not enough care in me to sit here and scream and yell and try to find people and post on everything, every little recast confession, and stuff of that manner. I'm not here to care that much. And sometimes I may follow people in certain areas just because I'm curious to see how things pan out. Curiosity will kill the cat. It is what it is. But in general, there's 50,000 layers to this, and I understand, and I do want to address one thing about it, and that's the whole I got gifted a recast thing. There's always a chance that can happen, and there's always a chance the person's telling the truth. And my thing is, you really need to, if you're a kid in this hobby, address that with your parents, that this exists and that this is essentially art theft and shouldn't be supported. And in my opinion, yes, you should be telling your family this if you think there's even the slightest possibility that they'll just Google BJD, and we all know that the freaking recast comes up almost first if you Google it. You need to tell them this. You need to tell them that this is a problem and an issue, and that you don't want to end up with a recast. It's your responsibility to let your family know that this exists. And if it's happened to you already, that's your choice on how you want to address your family. I would personally, and this is just my personal and how I deal with my family, would be like, oh, I just want you to know I love my gift. I'm going to, keep her, customize her, and love her personally, but I won't be able to share her on certain websites. I won't be able to do certain things with her because she is, a recast, and explain what recasts are. Not everyone's going to be able to do that. Not everyone's going to be positive doing that, but you need to put in the legwork beforehand, as soon as possible. They need to know. And even if it has happened and you don't want to directly address the fact that you bought me a recast and there's issues with that, you can then tell them about recast. And if they ask you, like, I love it, I don't care, I'm going to keep it, I love you, you gave me this gift means something to me. It's as simple as that. And a lot of people will be like, oh, they're probably people just lying about getting it as a gift, or lying about this, or lying about that. I'm not digging that deep. I'm not. I don't have time. I don't have care for it. If they're lying, that's for them. Can you sleep at night with that lie? That's your issue, not mine. If I take you at face value, you're lying, and I figure out you've been lying to me, I'm going to unfollow you and not be your friend anymore, because that's an action. That's not okay. or you're gonna have to, profusely apologize and be like, I've made a mistake. I'm trying to correct my mistake. And you know what? Again, I'll take you at face value, unless we're like super close, but I'm not like really super close to anyone in this hobby that you would know. The people I know who've even been remotely looked at this hobby are generally people that I'm not super close or super friends with. I've met in person, blah, blah, blah. Someone, I have no problem going, yeah, you made a mistake. Let's go on. You're not my best friend who's done some bull crap and lied to me for years. That'd be different. So it's just, that's my take on it. I know this has been a long video. I know there are going to be people who dislike this, and I know there are going to be people who don't dislike it, whatever, like it, whatever. I don't care. These are my views. These are who I am. And if you've made a mistake, don't worry about it. If someone is so worried about a mistake that you've made in the past that you've taken whatever measures you can to fix, maybe they're not worth your time. Because I've made mistakes. I've had friends make really big mistakes, and I'm not defriending them or refusing to become friends with them because you screwed up. We all screw up, and buying a recast doll is not an unforgivable mistake for me personally. I have a hot glue gun. Sorry, I'm messing with that. It's not an unforgivable mistake to me personally. And if it is an unforgivable mistake to you personally, that's up to you. Other people who actually sculpt dolls, I can understand why that would be an unforgivable mistake to them. They work hard, and you're the type of person who's in the past stolen that hard work. But, you have to understand, if you made a mistake, you deal with the consequences, as I've said like probably 50 times in this video. Anyways, that's done and done. It is what it is. Please know that, I don't hate anyone. I don't have enough care to hate someone I don't know, that has done no specific thing towards me, but I do judge you by your actions. And, I may just choose not to talk to you or choose not to follow you if your actions have shown that you do something that I believe truly hurts this hobby. So, if you don't like me anymore, if you want to unsubscribe, bye, Felicia. I don't care. I used to think and care way too much about that, which is why it took me so long to address it again and to correct my old video where I, for those of you who've been here long enough who watched that video and remember what I said, the recast list was this long when that video happened, as far as I knew at the time. It was mostly Fairyland dolls and a handful of other dolls, and I did not think it was going to become what it has become now. And at the time I was also younger and just didn't value people's work the way I value it now. And I mean value everything from saying please and thank you to the fast food worker who is handing me my food, to people who spend hours sculpting a doll. I respect people's work. I want them to get paid for it. So anyways, I'm done. This is what I'm saying. And if I choose not to respond to comments that want to argue or not, get over it. I just may not care enough to bother with it. Bye.